promise not to give you hell, unless you want it. I take a bite. You taste like apple sour sweet. I kinda like my crunchy boys gluten free.
Rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know that. You know that truer words have never been said. It does not matter who the host is. What matters is who the hell is on the other side of the equation. There is no doubt about that as we are hanging out. Anyways, today is Friday, February the 10th. Of 2023, day 41 of the year, and only 324 days to go. We are coming to you live and in living color from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. And then, of course, we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues on where we do stuff at.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking truth.
Okay, so let's not listen to some other radio stations then, is what it sounds like, if we're causing some shrinkage of the testicles. Okay, so there you go. So some stuff going on right there, as we know. I mean, I have to be honest here. I'm double checking the radio station because one of them went down earlier when I was trying to sync to it. So I have to make sure that we're still live and copacetic on what is going on. So anyways, how has the last 24 hours been for you? Because I always want to know these things. I always want to know how things are going in your lifetime. It's not about what's going on in my lifetime. I mean, my lifetime is your lifetime, and we kind of get to hang out and do all kinds of weird stuff, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. When you take a look around and take a look at the last 23 hours, what comes to mind immediately? What do you say? Okay, this was the most exciting thing that I did, or no, this is not. This is not the most exciting thing that I did. I mean, I don't know. Always all kind of a world of things. Anyway, so it is Freeform Friday, so let's talk about that as we are talking. Because Freeform Friday makes it a little bit more clustery than what we normally are, meaning that we're going to talk a little bit about everything. We're going to bring in the professional broadcasters. We're going to bring in the people that do some stuff that's out of the ordinary. You know what I learned anyways last night? Let me show you this. I can now do this, which I thought was kind of weird. Like, why would I want a screen of myself looking at myself, being myself, as myself is looking another direction? Thought that was kind of a weird one, but that's something that's available to me now. And here's the thing. Don't ever show me new stuff before I go on here, because then I want to do new stuff. By the way, let's talk about that. That was the visual side. That's me pulling cameras into it. Let's not talk about that. If you want to interact with the show today, it's kind of a simple process of doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That will get you moving and grooving inside of the linkature of getting us linked up and doing the things that we get to do. We do talk about safety in the news and safety. I will bring in some professional broadcasters for them to take a look around on what the hell is going on inside of the world. That way they can tell you about what's going on. And then we'll kind of just sling the stuff around and see how it goes. So let's talk real quick before we get too far away. Numero uno. This thing is sold out. If you're not on the screen, let me tell you what I'm talking about. This is the Safety Differently workshop that's taking place March the 6th through the 9th of 2003 in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It is sold outo. It means no more ticketos, no more nada. You can't get in. Just kind of the way that it goes. It is sold out. We are at capacity. I was actually talking to the people where the conference is being taken place and said, is there a bigger room? And the answer was no. So no more room for that one. I will talk about that and see how we can make it up to you. Now, on the other side of the equation, in a couple of days or a couple of months after that, we have another event going on. This one's called Safety Worlds Collide. It will be Sam Goodman, Brett Sutton, and yours truly taking place in Phoenix, Arizona. Yes, Phoenix, Arizona. So if you want to come and hang out and take a look at what's going on right there, I'll get you a QR code for that thing because probably we need to do that. But you can actually go to safetyfm.com and click on the section that says live events. Yes, that's the section that says live events. So that way you can take a look at what is there. So there you go. If you did not make it into the Safety Differently workshop, maybe you'll be able to make it into Safety Worlds Collide as tickets are now readily available. They are on the, early bird edition of those. So if you're interested in doing that. Anyways, let's talk real quick about what the hell we're going to be doing today, talking about moving and grooving. Take a listen to this.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so on the tab and coming through the trends, this is what was happening in the overnight. Kim Jong-un is still kicking. New Zealand makes a historic bust off the coast, so we'll talk about some of that. Some early analysis of spying technology aboard the China spy balloon and the latest Ron DeSantis decision for 2024. We'll talk about that as we get a little swampy today. An intervention was planned for Britney Spears this week. We'll talk a little bit about that. Tommy Lee bears it all again. Do we want to talk about that? Do we care about that? Okay, and Disney is working on sequels for some of its major franchises. So that's some stuff that's going on inside of that world of the Aquajan. And then, of course, you have some stuff that people are getting excited and ready for. Well, that Bowl of Supers. Yes, that Bowl of Supers that will be taking place this weekend. Some people refer to it as the big game. If that's your big game, you might have some problems. But anyways, you get the point as we are talking. Like I said, we are live and in living color. It is 8 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's get you into the professional broadcasters and let them tell you what the hell is going on inside of this world of news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. President Biden says the suspected Chinese balloon that flew over much of the country last week was not a major breach. He defended not shooting it down until it was over water.
This thing was gigantic. What happened if it came down and hit a school in the rural area? What happened if it came down? So I told them as soon as they can shoot it down, shoot it down. They made a wise decision. They shot it down over water, recovering most of the parts, and they're good.
Biden on Thursday compared it to intelligence gathering conducted by countries around the world. He said, however, that the balloon flyover was a violation of international law as it invaded America's airspace. The death toll from a massive earthquake earlier this week in Turkey and Syria is now above 21,000. The quake was a magnitude 7.8. Logistical problems, blocked roads, and poor communication have complicated rescue efforts along with the sheer size of the disaster. Russia overnight unleashed the most intense round of missile strikes since it began invading Ukraine nearly a year ago. Richard Engel is on the ground in a small Ukrainian town where remaining civilians are now under siege.
They're keeping their spirits up, but the people of Chasiv Yar are reaching a breaking point. Russian troops are less than 3 miles away, and they're closing in.
Russian missiles pounded critical infrastructure in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city, and launched a number of strikes on energy facilities in Zaporizhzhia in stepped-up attacks in the south and east. The attacks followed warnings by a Ukrainian military official who estimated that Russia has a total of nearly 10,000 tanks, armored vehicles, rocket launchers, fighter jets, helicopters, and artillery systems ready for a huge new invasion. There's another bad revelation involving Long Island GOP Congressman George Santos. Political reports Santos was charged with theft in 2017 involving dog breeders in Pennsylvania's Amish country. Stock futures are trading lower this morning. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Former Vice President Mike Pence is being subpoenaed by the special counsel overseeing investigations into former President Trump. Brian Shook reports.
The subpoena comes from Jack Smith, who was appointed to oversee the investigation into Trump's potential mishandling of classified documents in November. It's not clear yet what information the subpoena is seeking. I'm Brian Shook.
President Biden says he simply isn't ready to make a decision on whether to run for re-election next year. In an interview with Telemundo on Thursday, Biden was asked what's stopping him from announcing a decision on running for a second term. He said, "I'm just not ready to make it."
I feel good about where we are. I feel good about the way things are, and I feel good about the reception I get.
Biden says there's no motive behind him not making an announcement. He also described as flawed polls showing a majority of Democrats want someone else to be the party's nominee in 2024. An attorney who claims he was Alex Murdaugh's best friend is testifying against him in his South Carolina murder trial. Murdaugh is pleading not guilty to killing his wife and son in June of 2021. In Thursday's testimony, attorney Chris Wilson says the 53-year-old lawyer confessed to him later that year that he had a drug addiction and had been stealing from his clients. Prosecutors say Murdaugh killed his wife and son to distract attention from his financial crimes. The defense notes there are no witnesses, no murder weapon, and no DNA linking Murdaugh to the deaths. The trial will resume this morning. Another land is coming to Disneyland. Julie Ryan with details.
During Disney's first quarter earnings report webcast, CEO Bob Iger announced the new plan.
I'm thrilled to announce that we will be bringing an exciting Avatar experience to Disneyland.
Disney's Animal Kingdom in Florida opened Pandora, the World of Avatar in 2017 based on James Cameron's box office hit. The sequel to the film, Avatar: The Way of Water, has grossed over $2 billion worldwide. Iger said more details will be announced on the new edition soon.
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi. This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. It is currently 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and doing all the fun and lovely stuff that we get to do, because it is importante to do so. So don't forget about that. Anyways, interaction with the show, callinradio.com. We'll get you moving and grooving. I'm expecting somebody coming in on the warm line. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But let's get into it real quick. The Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky makes the rounds in Europe for ongoing military support. The Russian forces appear to be, I guess really just pounding it in there as resources for another major offensive. The new push would be symbolically coincide with the 1-year anniversary of the hot war there. The Sun reports that 500,000 troops have gathered near the front lines, accompanied by a variety of tanks, armored vehicles, and artillery. So there you go. Meanwhile, Kim Jong-un Jr. is still alive and healthy enough to attend the North Korea military parade on Wednesday night, which marked the 75th anniversary of the founding of the country's army. Worth noting, Jr. was brought one of his daughters to the event, who was popped up of the other official events in the recent months. Jr. typically keeps a tight lid on his family, but maybe bringing her into the fold to clarify the secession plan. So there you go. In some other news, Yahoo has announced 1,600 layoffs in its advertising division, representing a 20% workforce and reduction overall. About 1,000 of those jobs won't be returning to work on Monday. Ultimately, it appears that Yahoo has given up on competing directly with Google in their online advertising. Verizon owned the search engine for a few years before offloading it in 2021 to a private equity firm for $5 billion. Yes, I did say $5 billion with the B. Yes, that B word. Not that B word, the other B word. Anyways, Chick-fil-A is testing a meat alternative sandwich with breaded cauliflower offering that would be rolled out in that particular regards of the rolling out portion. So that would be a rollout that they would allow you to do in that particular regards if you're taking a look-see at it. So that gets you something to look at there. So the restaurant has reportedly spent about 4 years developing the recipe and tried different combinations of vegetable patties before selling on cauliflower. No word yet on any other plans, but we'll take a look-see, and see what the hell's going on there. There is no doubt about that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens inside of that equation. That is for sure. So let's take a look here. I think we got a guest. Do we have a guest? I think we have a guest. I think he vanished as I attempted to do that. So let's take a look-see. I don't know. Where'd he go? He must have vanished. Anyway, so let's continue talking. McDonald's has already launched a plant-based burger in the UK. Burger King has a big on the Impossible Whopper and the KFC Beyond Meat Chicken Nuggets offering. So I guess that's some options for you if you're so inclined to do that stuff. What do you think? It is definitely something to look at, and it is definitely something to give the croissant for, because what else? I mean, would you try one of these plant-based things in regards of doing something different? If not, I mean, it's okay. I get it. It's something to talk about for sure. So there you go. Hello. So let's take a look-see there. How are you? We got Jim Posel coming in.
Hey, I'm doing great. Good morning to everybody, or whatever time of day you're watching this or listening here, or whatever we're doing. I don't know.
So how are you? It's been a hot moment since we kind of last hung out, spoke, and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's talk real quick. What's going on? I'm doing a lot of project work, as all of us are. You know, the pandemic.
I think we're at 92 days to the official end of the pandemic, according to the feds. So May 11th. And we've just been broadcasting almost every night on safetyfm.com. With Safety Wars, my regular news and views.
I have to tell you, I thought it was kind of funny. I'm taking a listen a few days ago, and all of a sudden you're saying how this show's not political. I thought it was hilarious taking a listen to that, because then you spent like the next 20 minutes talking about politics, and I was like, hold on, I just thought you told me it wasn't political.
Right. Well, there is a new political party out there, a third party forward by that's being co-headed or co-chaired by the former New Jersey Governor Christine Todd Whitman and I believe it's Andrew Yang, and who ran for president under the Democratic ticket. And as you know, I have extensive experience dealing with third parties and mainstream parties from a previous life here, about 10 years experience. And a lot of times people get all wrapped up in this stuff. So I was describing the pitfalls and some of the advantages of that type of approach to politics. And also, a lot of people do not understand how to get involved, like if you're a candidate. So a lot of times candidates still come up to you, how do I get involved? I tell them, unless there's a plan to get on the ballot, meaning on that thing you vote on, or vote with, right? In either the primary or the general election, and you stay the hell away from politics, from the candidates. Because that's where most candidates fail. And I wasted a lot of time. And I only learned things the hard way sometimes, like a lot of people. And I don't want to see other people fall into that trap.
I get it. So I got a question for you. I know that you're coming down to Florida here in the next few weeks. Are we allowed to talk about what you were texting me last night or not yet? Do we kind of have to hold off?
Oh yeah, we can talk about it. If you want to talk about it, we are going to be at either me or you or other people that we are still in the planning stages. We're going to be broadcasting from the 15th International Conference on Climate Change. It's in Orlando. I was delegate at the first one in 2008 in New York City. It's basically a alternative view on climate change and climate change policy with things. And it's primarily on it's economists, some scientists, and it's a one-day event. Basically, unless you want to go the day before for like a dinner and meet and greet sort of thing, and then the next day it's the event. So it's a one-day event. And I think, now, if you've been listening to the program, my program, which is on Safety FM, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every weekday usually, we have to start moving in this country towards better understanding each other and working together. And this political polarization throughout our entire society, we have to somehow stop this. We have to start to get along. And if that's going to be through me and you and Safety FM to try to breach the gap here, try to make this a kinder, gentler society, I think we should try to do it. That's always been my opinion. To try to work, be a force for good here, and understanding, and not being manipulated. That's the other thing. In our workplaces, we're manipulated a lot of times, especially if you're a safety professional. And I'm talking about strategies all the time, and alerting people how they can be manipulated and how they have to work towards good. And that's what I'm trying to do here.
So, do you have dates on when this is actually taking place?
2 weeks from today. So however that works out on your calendar.
The 24th. So it's the 24th, which is Friday. Okay.
Right. On a Friday. Okay. So I'm looking very. So Jay, I don't know. Was this a strategic location for you to choose to live in Orlando? So every time someone comes down there on vacation, they could visit you.
It almost sounds like it would have been part of a plan on how I had this worked out, and
right.
I wonder if it was. Okay, well, Jim, let them know where they can find you if they want to find out more on what the hell's going on with you, and then we'll go from there.
You can reach me on updated on my website, safetywords.com. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I've been posting a lot on Instagram lately. You could find me under my name, Jim Poesel, JIMPOESL. And my links at safetywords.com.
Okay, well, Jim, I really do appreciate the time, and I guess we will see you soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Take care, sir. Bye-bye. Okay, so there you go. Some Jim Poesel action. What exactly is going on? So there you go. If you're going to be in the Orlando market, climate change, little gimmick going on right there. 15th annual going on March the 24th. If you have the availability, would love to see you there. If not, we'll actually be doing it right there on safetyfm.com, broadcasting from there. And I will tell you, Jim Poesel has been working behind the scenes on getting all that stuff set up. So good stuff going on right there. Let's talk real quick about some things that are going on inside of the world of the news, because that's how we hang out and do our stuff. New Zealand authorities have recovered a flotilla of cocaine left unprotected in the Pacific Ocean. The haul included 81 bales of blow weighing more than 3 tons and floating on the raft worth about $318 million on the street. Can you imagine that? All of a sudden you take a look at that. New Zealand Police Commissioner Andrew Coster said that enough cocaine to last New Zealand druggies for about 30 years and about a year for Australia. Okay, maybe that's a joke. No word, and that's a cultural dig at Australia, but it is the function of a different population of what the hell is going on in regards of sizes. So there you go. That kind of changes some equations for you in regards of what is going on. So this must be made for awkward police reports at Portland, Oregon. A man says that his sword collection was stolen from his car last weekend. The thieves made off with a rapier, a cavalry saber, a steel longsword, a Swiss handler, and other training tools and accessories worth an estimated $3,000. Worth noting, the victim is totally kooky for keeping the weapons in his vehicle. He teaches fencing classes in a nearby park. I mean, I don't know if he's kooky, but it definitely makes it sound a little weirdy-eerdy.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about it. If you're not doing much this weekend, which I don't understand how that would be the case with the big game going on over the weekend, what's streaming? Let's talk about what's streaming on the charts. New to Amazon Prime, somebody I used to know is going to be there. New to Disney Plus will be House of Darkness, The Christmas Consultant, The Santa Con, and Tommy. New to Hulu will be Brimstone, Jesus Henry Christ. Yeah, I'm just saying what it says. Pound of Flesh, Something in the Dirt, The Perfect Weapon, and The Storied Life of A.J. Furkey. New to Netflix will be The 10 Days of a Good Man, Your Place or Mine. Hold on, The 10 Days of a Good Man, Your Place or Mine. That sounds like... I hope I didn't mix the titles there, because, that would be kind of awkward in regards to talking about that now. I mean, just think about that as we are talking. So anyways, there you go. I'm taking some look around and some other things that are going on inside of the world. Do we want to talk about the swamp? Okay, America's Governor Ron DeSantis is on the cusp of making a decision about running for president in 2024. The Hill reports that his team apparently is gaming out when to announce on the assumption that DeSantis is a full steam ahead, but formal announcement would likely be in May or June, so we're still talking about some time. A late announcement makes a lot of sense for DeSantis, who is already the top contender despite having not launched anything official. A later announcement also gives him the opportunity to lay the land of as the other Republicans announce their candidacy in the coming weeks. By the way, former President Donald Trump got to Instagram and Facebook his account back on Thursday, just in case if you wanted to know a little bit about that. Anyways, let's bring in some John Smalls real quick. Let him tell you about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, February 10th, 2023. Equity markets fell for the second day as traders assess the latest economic data and the FOMC activity. The takeaway is that inflation puts the economy on the brink of an actual recession, and the FOMC is still raising interest rates. The committee wants to ensure inflation is tamed, which will most likely trigger the recession everyone fears. Regardless, the S&P 500 is in the first inning of what could be a prolonged earnings recession that has been sparked by a decline in volume brought on by high prices and high interest rates. Friday's action will be critical for the market. The S&P 500 index confirms the presence of resistance in the 4150 level, which may lead to another big sell-off. The rally may continue if the market can rebound and close even near the week's high. If not, investors should brace for another sell-off that could shave 15 to 20% off the major indices by the start of spring. January effect or not, the outlook for S&P 500 earnings is moving lower, leading the market lower. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the information, because that's always important. Let me tell you a little bit of what I found on my side. The Dow lost about 249 points to close at 33,699. The S&P lost about 36 points to close at 4,081, and NASDAQ lost about 120 points. West Texas Intermediate closed at $77 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $84. The national average price of a gallon of gas was at $3.43. Bitcoin got clobbered, losing nearly 5% and trading around $21,800. There was more than 2,875 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Thursday, and more than about 120 cancellations. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for $50 million jackpot or a $26.4 million cash payout. Saturday night's Powerball drawing will be for $34 million jackpot or an $18.3 million cash payout. So there you go. If you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. Currently, let's take a look. 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's do this because it is Freeform Friday. Let's get you some news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Over 20,000 people are now known to have died in Turkey and Syria following Monday's earthquakes. The UK is building an on-the-ground emergency field hospital in Turkey to treat those critically injured. Many survivors have now spent 4 days in freezing conditions without shelter, water and food. A British RAF plane carrying supplies like medical aid is also on its way, something charity worker Kieran says is crucial.
People need food, they need shelter, they need to keep themselves warm, they need medicines, and also for the water supply as well, which is also some areas have been contaminated, and that's a concern.
Pakistan and the International Monetary Fund have agreed to continue talks, delaying a $1.1 billion bailout. The debt-laden South Asian nation is facing imminent bankruptcy, but says it's hopeful of a breakthrough. Ishan Gerg reports.
The International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, says considerable progress has been made and further negotiations with Pakistan will continue. The talks have been stalled for several months now. The IMF wants Pakistan to raise taxes and prices of essential items, but the government is not keen to do that, fearing a backlash from the voters in the general elections this year. But analysts say the situation is dire now. The country only has $2.9 billion in foreign exchange reserves. It means its ability to pay back foreign debt is limited. While it waits for the IMF to bail it out on favorable terms, Pakistan is now also appealing to friendly nations in the Gulf for help. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
SpaceX has carried out a milestone test on its Starship rocket system. Elon Musk's company is due to fire the most powerful operational rocket system ever, and the static test saw 31 out of 33 engines ignited. The UK's opposition Labour Party has won a by-election in West Lancashire. The seat became available after the resignation of Labour MP Rosie Cooper. Ashley Dalton held it with a majority of more than 8,000 votes, which is a 10.5% swing away from the Conservatives. Ashley Dalton says it shows there should be a national election.
If this government wants to limp on without a proper democratic mandate and push things through Parliament, maybe they'll do that. But I think the message that has come tonight from the British people is that time is up for this Conservative government and we do need a general election.
The UK has narrowly avoided recession, for now at least. The latest data from the Office for National Statistics shows that output between October and December was flat at 0%. That means the UK has avoided 2 negative contractions in 2 successive quarters. For breaking news updates from around the world, you can follow us on Twitter at Feature Story. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. China's accusing Australia of discriminating against Chinese companies. It follows a warning from Canberra that it's removing Chinese-made surveillance cameras from defence sites over national security fears. Richard Kimber reports from Hong Kong.
Beijing's foreign ministry is accusing Australia of misusing national might to discriminate against and suppress Chinese enterprises. It's calling on Australia to provide what it calls a fair environment for Chinese companies. Australia's Defence Minister says the government is carrying out a review of surveillance technology used in offices of the Defence Department, amid reports that Chinese-made cameras installed there could pose a security risk. More than 900 Chinese-made cameras have been installed across more than 250 Australian government buildings, according to official figures compiled by opposition politician James Patterson. The tension comes as both countries have pledged to work to improve their relationship and repair strained trade ties. Richard Kimber in Hong Kong.
The Chinese balloon that flew above the US for 8 days was capable of collecting communication signals, according to the US State Department. It says it was part of a fleet directed by the Chinese military that had flown over more than 40 countries across 5 continents. Kate Fisher reports from Washington.
The State Department said the US used high-resolution imagery from U-2 flybys to determine that the balloon's equipment was, quote, clearly for intelligence surveillance and inconsistent with the equipment on board weather balloons. It said it had multiple antennae that were likely capable of collecting and geolocating communications, as well as solar panels large enough to produce power to operate multiple active intelligence collection sensors. The State Department says the company that made the balloon has proven ties to the Chinese military. It threatened action against Beijing and entities linked to its military that supported the balloon's incursion into US airspace.
That's the latest Feature Story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home. Wow, awesome. Where were you, Jill? Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need, especially for small businesses. That's where LinkedIn Job comes in. They make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number one in delivering qualified hires versus leading competitors. I have to tell you that we have used LinkedIn Jobs to even find some of the people that we have here at Safety FM. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free on linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it right here on Safety FM.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Prepare yourself.
We are now being distributed on iHeartRadio. Listen on iHeartRadio app. Radio Big.
Okay, let's go.
Can I take a look? I promise not to give you hell, unless you want it.
Okay, you are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show. And you got a little bit of May May coming your way. Yeah, that's some Apple Boy coming your way from May May. The song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Yeah, as you've noticed, the last 3 days, we've played some May May. Yeah.
I like to eat.
Because May May likes to eat. Yeah, you know, some different tunes for some different times, that's for sure. You know, we have to take advantage of the stuff that we got going on here. I mean, We play all kinds of different music, especially if you're hanging out on the radio big side of the equation.
You're so delicious.
So thanks to May May for, hanging out this week. That's for sure.
The doctor away. You're so delicious, too good to keep on display.
Okay, so let's get into the move and the groove of the things that we have going on. It is currently 44 minutes past the top of the hour on this glorious Friday, or should I say fantastic Friday, or something that's clever that rhymes almost on how it looks. But anyways, with that being said, let's talk real quick about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and your loved ones, and practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. That will get everything moving over there. Or you can text the word TALK to 988 or call 988. Listen, this is such an important matter that I think we should talk about it all the time. All the time, because that's how important it is. That way you can get some information on what's going on and also get some help. Listen, it might not be you today that needs the help, but you might know someone who does. So keep that in mind as we are talking, because you never know when that timetable might hit. Keep that in mind as we are talking. Let's get into some more things, as it is Friday, Freeform Friday to be exact, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about and little time to do so, because why would we not be in that equation? So if you're not sure what you're going to be doing this weekend, we did talk about the video on demand stuff. Let's talk about things that are coming to the movie theater. And funny how it always works out that this is the kind of movie that would come out during this time frame, but Magic Mike's Last Dance. Yeah, Magic Mike takes the stage again after a lengthy hiatus following the business deal that went bust for what he hopes will be his last hurrah, but a wealthy socialite lures him with an offer that he can't refuse. Channing Tatum, Salma Hayek, Kathleen Gerard, all will be in it. Not scoring very well, 58% Rotten Tomatoes, but something tells me a lot of people will not care about that. Consecration. Yes, it's a limited release horror movie. After a suspicious death of a brother, a priest woman goes to a covenant in Scotland to find out what happened. Once they're there, she uncovers a murder that has occurred. So there you go. That's another movie that's going on right there. And let's talk real quick about that time, about some ugly truth, because that is what we do around here. We talk about the ugly truths about what the hell is going on. But people who perceive themselves to be less attractive wear protective masks more often, according to a new report. A recent study published by Frontiers in Psychology found that those who are not particularly confident in their looks were more willing to wear a mask, particularly in situations where they are motivated to make a good impression. A study author from Seoul University wrote that our findings suggest that the mask wearing can shift from being a self-protection measure during the COVID-19 pandemic to self-presentation tactic in post-pandemic era. Well, there are always, that things that should be said of one protects others, not ourselves. In the same way, some kid downtown called me a double masker yesterday, so I don't even know what that means, so just keep that in mind. So let's talk about Valentine, not Valentine, which will be taking place at some point in your near future. This year, Americans will shell out about $192.80 on average on candy, cards, flowers, and other gifts for friends and loved ones, classmates, and even co-workers for Valentine's Day. According to a report from the National Retail Council, that's about $17 more from last year. Those relationships will spend roughly $187 in their significant other, according to a separate survey. That's despite the fact that many Americans are already going into debt just to afford their day-to-day expenses as prices has risen. 27% said that they need to rely on credit cards to cover Valentine's Day costs. Another survey found that Canadians plan to spend about $104 on their Valentine's Day and totally forget about their friends and co-workers. Walmart has a little something special for those who are who have a not so significant other this Valentine's Day. The retailer is selling a stuffed teddy bear holding a broken in two heart that says love, and the little guy is also wearing a shirt that says bye-bye. The 9-inch tall stuffed animal, which also dances on demand, and is named Way to Celebrate Bear. Even the recipients might not really feel like celebrating. The brown bear dances to NSYNC's hit song Bye 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 when the foot's pressed. The Way to Celebrating the Bear is selling about $16.98. But remember, a breakup text is a lot cheaper, so that's something to think about as we are talking. Currently 49 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's see if we can get you what's going on inside of the main news stories. There's a flu going around, and this is not really contagious, and if you get it, it will happen Sunday night. Bree Tennis explains.
Many names: the Super Bowl flu, Super Sick Monday, the vodka virus, whatever you call it. 17 million Americans are expected to come down with it Sunday night and call in sick to work Monday. This from a survey from the Workforce Institute. They say the cost of productivity loss on the Monday following Super Bowl is in the $4 billion range. It could be fixed easily. 79% of football fans say the Monday after the big game should be declared a national holiday. Bree Tennis, NBC News Radio.
Could you imagine that all of a sudden we have a holiday now because of a football game? Anyways, that'll be interesting. Anyways, Fox News says that President Biden has not yet committed to giving an interview on Super Bowl Sunday. Michael Kastner reports.
Super Bowl tradition in recent years for the President of the United States to give an interview with the news division of the network broadcasting the game. The final decision on the interview has not yet been made, but a report in Variety says Fox News executives are proceeding as if it will not happen. The White House has not yet commented on the report. The last president to turn down an interview on Super Bowl Sunday was President Trump in 2018, who passed on an interview with NBC News. I'm Michael Kastner.
So we're talking 5 years. We'll see what happens. Anyways, with that being said, before we get too far way into this thing, let's get you motivated with some Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by John. Abraham Lincoln said, "The best way to predict the future is to create it." What a great quote. If you really think about it, we create the future every single day. Your choices today will build the path you take today, and that path will lead you to your future. If you want a better future, you need a plan to make better decisions today and every day, and that will lead you to a better future. We cannot change the past, but we can change the future by making the right decisions today. These decisions can be small things too. You don't need to change everything in a day. Little changes every day will lead you to the desired future you're looking for. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. The process of weight loss or weight management can be very tricky, and sometimes as we attempt to get in shape, we don't really know what to do besides eating less and moving more. So here are some important guidelines if you are working on losing weight. First, for every 100-calorie reduction, increase protein intake by 6 to 10 grams. 6 if you are sedentary, 10 grams if you are more active. Second, incorporate resistance training. Stimulating the muscle is going to stimulate its growth and size, and resistance training is going to be that stimulus, not the food. Lastly, every 8 weeks, take 10 to 14 days for maintenance. Use these days to practice how you're going to eat after reaching your weight goal. Not as restrictive as during your weight loss period, not as liberally as before. For more, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. Today we are looking at common faith, or what the Bible refers to as a measure of faith. Romans 12:3 says, God gives this kind of faith to every person on the face of the earth. It's saving faith. For it is by grace you have been saved, through faith. And this is not from yourselves. It is a gift of God. You can increase this kind of faith by hearing and meditating on the Word of God. Romans 10:17 says, faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the Word of God. Jude verse 20 says, building yourselves up on your most holy faith, praying in the Holy Spirit. Lord Jesus, help us to increase our faith by praying in the Holy Spirit. Amen.
If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
I don't feel like we make fun of people. We just kind of talk about stuff. Anyways, we talked about this earlier. Take a listen to this. Tommy Lee once again bared it all for social media. The 60-year-old drummer posted a not-so-safe-for-work photo of his backside capturing, "Hey, Mr. Peanut, let's collab. I'll bring the nuts." Last August, Lee posted a full frontal nude on Instagram. So there you go. If you want to be on the lookout for that, knock yourself out, because some people like that kind of stuff. So there you go. So Tommy Lee, 60-year-old, doing the thing that Tommy Lee is known for doing. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Let's take a look. Back in 2020, more than 30 bushfires are put out by the heaviest rainfall in 30 years in New South Wales, Australia. The rain helped end one of the worst bushfire seasons ever. Over 46 million acres were burnt, over 1 billion animals were killed, and 34 humans' deaths. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Taking a look real quick at some birthdays that are occurring today. Let's go from the top to the bottom to the bottom to the top, because that's what we do. You got them. Okay, Emma Roberts turns 32. Jade Ramsey turns 35. Vic Fuentes, 40. Stephanie Beatrice turns 42. Elizabeth Banks turns 49. Laura Dern, 56. Glenn Beck turns 59. And Robert Wagner, he turns 93 today, just in case if you wanted to know. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those for you. It's National Cream Cheese Brownie Day. I don't even know what that is, but I think I want to find out. National Umbrella Ella Day. Well, that's kind of fitting. And Pismal Day. So there you go. Some stuff to celebrate if you're so inclined to do so. Anyways, let's take a look around and talk about Did You Know? As of Monday, February the 6th, it's been 5 years since SpaceX caused a stir by launching Elon Musk's personal Tesla Roadster into space, sending the car on an endless journey where it's expected to remain for millennia. At the 5-year mark, data estimates shows that the cherry-colored sports cars had completed at least three and a quarter loops around the sun, and was then about 203 million miles, or 203 million miles from Earth, according to the tracking website whereisroadster.com. The other hand, it is difficult to say for sure where the vehicle is or determine if it's all still in one piece. Is it possible that the car has been obliterated by a meteor or eroded beyond recognition by radiation, because of the current data is based only on calculation estimates of the car trajectory? So there you go. That's some stuff to think about. That is for sure. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I'll be going over to RadioBig.fm. If you want to come and hang out, you can find us on the iHeartRadio app, or you can keep it locked here on Safety FM. If you go to Radio Big, I'll be doing music for the next couple hours or so. Would love to hang out with you and do the stuff that we do over there. That'd be some fun times to do so if you have the opportunity to do it. Anyways, let me give you a random joke for today. My wife says that she pretends to care about the Super Bowl if I pretend to care about Valentine's Day. None of that is true in my household. Anyways, if you need a phone starter for today, try this. What is the word is a lot of fun to say? I don't know. What do you think about? What word comes to mind? Anyways, if you need a question for the water cooler, try this. Perhaps surprisingly, 60% of people agree that couples should do this when out celebrating Valentine's Day. What is it? Split the bill, and split your ass taking your ride home. There you go. So anyways, that's going to sum it up. Thank you for hanging out this morning, doing the things that you do, because without you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. There is no doubt about that. So if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Tension is who you think you should be, and relaxation is who you are. Think about that. It'll take you a lot further than what you expect. Enjoy your weekend, depending on what the hell you have going on, that is for sure. Thank you for being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
I know you're sensitive.